Okay. Founder of In the Tribe, he helps professionals achieve success by learning how to break through digital noise to build trusting, thriving tribes. In the Tribe is a company focused on helping individuals in the marketplace understand the importance of and best ways to build a thriving tribe of professionals who collectively create value, opportunities, and results for each other. He also happens to have a really long resume list of a lot of successful companies that he helped to create and foster and grow. Today, Tom Gay, I am very glad you're here, and I'm going to let you tell it all about the great things that you're doing.
Well,
Welcome.
Thank you, Maureen. I appreciate the chance to be with you. Wow, talk about myself, huh?
Yes.
Well, I'm what's called a serial entrepreneur. And I've got 7 decades behind me, and I've just started my 8th company. So I've started one company for each decade. Now, I didn't start below the age of 10, so I had some compression in there. But I believe that when you're working in the areas that you've been gifted and equipped to do, and as I like to say, when I work using the gifts that the Maker gave me, then I put a smile on the face of the Maker. So that's why I get up every morning, and I'm so excited about doing what I do to impact people around the world and help bring us back into relationships together. Most of my businesses have been focused on relationships and people-to-people connections. And whether you're talking about inside of your company or talking about to the marketplaces that we serve, it all starts with relationship. And the more you focus on that, the more you're going to get to the mutually beneficial goals that you're each seeking.
And I love that because that's an absolute shift of the leadership down model versus the connective rise up together model.
Totally agree. I can speak to many of my companies that have achieved great success. And probably the one that I like to reference the most as an example of taking care of people who are working together is a company that I sold a long time ago. We had about 350 people, and we were nationwide. We were the leader in our field. But 25 years after we sold that company, we had a reunion and had on the 25th anniversary of the sale, we had 165 people show up because we love each other. And when you bring that into the equation of building an organism, an organization, a company, whatever it is, everybody is going to get lifted by the tide of that rising affection for each other. So it's all about purpose and passion at that point in time that joins us together.
So in most companies, this would be a side benefit, not the focus. So with what you're doing in the tribe, how is your shift on this, and how do you forward this as not just simply a byproduct, but the product?
Well, it really is a reflection of a lot of things that have changed in our culture and our society. I mean, when I first started in business, it was all business. And it was all go by the organizational design. Back in those days, we looked at things called careers. And today, I've done some research into millennials in the marketplace. And today, a millennial expects to change their job 3 times in their first 5 years out of school. When I came out of school, we were looking at, well, how many years do I serve in this company? All that shifted. Everything's changed, and there's a lot of reasons for it. However, I think there's been a great sacrifice made over the changes, whereby with the advent of technologies and social tools and things like that, social media specifically, we're not in relationships with each other like I believed we were in our principal times in my earlier career. So where I come out on this is that build a company, make it about all of us. I used to use the analogy of the organizational chart. You've seen it, you at the top, and then the bigwigs, and then the middle management, and then the rest of the people. Well, in 1985 or 86, I turned the organizational chart upside down. Okay. At the top was the customer, the client. The next layer on the vertical axis were the people who served the client in my company. And I was at the bottom of the chart. My job was to serve all of those people up through that pyramid. And once that changed, or that inversion took place, everything else fell into an order whereby we cared for each other. We understood we had a role to take care of the people who we served. And the people I served in this particular case were my team, my leadership, and by modeling that, the rest of the results and the outcome, in terms of cultural outcome of the company, became extraordinary.
So being that, I mean, that's an absolute paradigm shift from, and even still what's going on, that how, so your new company's in the tribe. And how are you continuing to move this whole shift forward through that?
Well, again, we're a new company, and we're working instead of company to company. Our clients are people like yourself, professionals who are independent and out in the marketplaces trying to serve the needs of the people they address. So our goal is to educate and equip people like ourselves, people like I suspect you serve every day, with tools to help them build those same kinds of relationships. There likely isn't an organization in place, but we go by the premise that people will do business with those who they know, like, and trust. So how do you build a trusted relationship? Number one, you create a highly engaged relationship, meaning you get in touch and keep in touch. Number two, you illustrate the highest character and competence possible between each other, so that trust is the product of the evidence of character and confidence. And number three, as I'm relating to you in this engagement, my conversation isn't going to be about me, it's going to be about you. And you on a personal level to the best that I can. For example, I know a little bit from our conversation earlier, and if I relate to you about your son in high school who's going to graduate soon, now I'm relating to something that's about you. The more I do that, the more trust evolves or emerges in our relationship.
So is that actually built into the fields, and it establishes non-traditional business information and helps to bring that together? How is that fostered?
Well, we train on those elements inside of our tools. We're a digital platform, so we're an online platform with extensive training on how do you build trust. But the outcome of our training is to go from trusted relationships to tribe. And that step to the next level, tribe, takes the construct of know, like, and trust one level further. So that level further, and I love talking about this because I've seen it up close and personal in other countries. That next level is the know, like, trust covenant. The construct of covenant is what comes out of the emergence of tribe. What I mean by covenant is when we covenant, and we've done some covenanting already, you and I, in our conversations. But as we covenant, what we're affirming is that we belong to the same group who have committed to working together, to being in tribe together.
Okay.
When you're a belonger, and I'll use an illustration. Let's assume you and I both join the Rotary. Let's make it real generic.
Okay.
Rotary has a set of principles that we would both agree to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're 5 core principles in Rotary. If we agree to those, we're covenanting as belongers to that organization, that organism called Rotary, that we're going to abide by those together. We're covenanting. The same is the mechanics, if you will, the mechanisms of me tribing up with a group of business people because we have a shared interest.
Like-mindedness.
Like-mindedness, perfect.
Okay.
When I join a group and belong to a group, I embrace the principles, commitments, objectives of the group. And the outcome of that is what we call a win-win-win outcome. You win, I win, and the tribe wins. The whole tribe gets stronger as a result of our covenanting together. And so in these days, I'm going to make a term up. In these days of the digital dark ages right now,
Yeah.
where we're blocked off from each other because of technology, we need to bring personal relationships, trust, and covenanting together back into our culture. Otherwise, we'll continue to see the younger generations become more and more disaffected from society and from each other.
No, there is an absolute burden that's being handed down, and the obvious pain is showing in them.
I totally agree. And, I saw an advertisement about 2 months ago from HP, I forget, Hewlett Packard. And what it made fun of is all of the digital symbolism we use to communicate instead of words, like LOL. Okay, now LOL means something, or there's another whole group of them. Emojis. Emojis are convenient, but they don't replace the personal touch. Instead of sending you an emoji, I push the dial button and it calls you, and we have a voice exchange. I actually get past all the barricades that you put up to keep me out, and we now build a relationship. That's what we've got to bring back into our culture.
And agree. It's just funny that it was something that was obvious is now something we need to work to get to be and do.
Well, I totally agree, and I've kind of veered off into the tribe, but we believe that by bringing these principles back into the forefront, enabling them, not making technology an enemy, but making it a tool, enabling people to have one-to-one relationships, you can build a new bridge. We can culturally move to a new place. We can overcome some of the presumptions that the lack of communications put into our heads and create a healthier climate for all of us.
Let me ask you this then, because it's interesting to see that this is the path that you're on. And was there a shift at one time was it a mistake, or just what shifted you to this realization that the element of communication, that the essence of a one-to-one communication was missing and is so necessary? And then if so, then how did that shift happen?
I'm not sure it was that obvious. I've been a user of very intentional activities. Some might call them tactics, to build connections with people so that we could have a conversation. And now this precedes social media. But in the old days, back 30 years ago, we had such things as called trade magazines. There was a gazillion of them. they're out of business now because of the web. However, if I'm trying to reach you and make a connection with you, and I knew the industry you're in, I'd go find something about your industry and tear the article out, put a personal note on it, just hand scribble it, and send it out to you and say, hey, Maureen, I was thumbing through this the other day and I saw this and it reminded me of you. You might enjoy taking a look at it. Those kinds of intentional activities helped me build in this company an $80 million a year business. Okay. Replicating that will break down the walls. Using the technology today will break down the walls that separate us. I've got a story to tell you. My wife and I, in 2001, picked up and moved to South Africa.
Oh.
Okay, from here in San Diego. I'd sold my company. I was free of the ties that bind, if you will. I'd taken a company public, NASDAQ, done all the Wall Street stuff. And we said, well, let's go see what we can do and follow this organization that we had been financially supporting. We went there and we actually moved there. We didn't intend to, but we ended up going for 2 weeks and staying for 9 years.
Oh.
Okay. And we started an organization, a nonprofit ministry organization, feeding children. Okay. Now, when we first went there, everyone there in all the different cultural groups resented and rejected us.
Wow.
Okay. Now, I can get into this. This is a much longer topic, perhaps, than time permits, but they all resented and rejected because they presumed we came in with assumptions, and being, Americans thinking we could fix it all, they thought we thought that way.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't think that way. After about a year and a half of building bridges, relationships, we became accepted, and we were allowed, and this is an important term right here for all of us because it just doesn't relate to Africa. We became allowed to walk across what's called the bicultural bridge. Okay, the bicultural bridge in this case was the distinction between a white American and a black South African, or a mixed race South African, or a white South African. When we moved across the cultural bridge, we then became belongers, part of the community, and could unleash our talents or our passions and talents to make an impact, and did all kinds of things as a result. Built an organization that celebrates its 20th anniversary this year, it's 2020. And in building the organization, we returned to the States in 2010 and left behind a South African leadership team to model what it was that we had brought there. And that's the kind of outcome that can come when we get back into person-to-person relationships.
So the term belongingship, that's it.
That's it. See, when you belong, when you've crossed over that, the term I used was the bicultural bridge. Now, all of a sudden, it's not you versus me or them versus us. It's sort of like when you walk into it's bowl game season. You walk into a bowl game and you've got your LSU shirt on, or you've got, I forget who they're going to play ball against. Oklahoma. LSU and no, Oklahoma lost. Anyhow, you got your LSU shirt on. I have a lot of fun laughing at myself. What you are now a belonger to that tribe. You take it off, put the other guy's shirt on, you're now not there. Well, those represent examples, analogies of the pole distinctions that we have. If we kind of cross across those and now open up dialogue, it's amazing what we could create.
Well, it's one word, but the actual essence of the tribe is that belongingship as well. And I just,
Very much
people
so.
are really searching for this, and what a necessary movement or mission we get to bring people together.
Well, Maureen, you just hit it out of the park. Okay, because now if you say, well, what separates us? Okay, when I joined Facebook, I didn't become a belonger to a community. I became a user of a technology, and the people that I used to be in relationships with, I'm no longer in relationships with when I can get this device out and do something but never talk to them.
Mm.
I call social media unsocial media.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the things that trouble us as a community, whether it's in family or whether it's beyond, in your company, in our political world, in our generational distinctions, millennial, Gen X, Gen Y, what separates us are the technologies that we're allowed to come in to serve as a substitute for human relationships. And that's what we as tribe builders have to bring back in for the sake of our children.
And by the way, I'm going to shake your hand on that as another forming and fostering a tribe. So I love that we share that in common.
We do. And the more we do that, the more we bridge the gap that overcomes, as we've talked about, the depression that's in these young people because they don't have anyone to talk with. They've got all the connectivity in the world and no dialogue and relationship to have it. And that's where we can have an impact if we open our eyes to it.
Yeah, we get to. And as we stand here and reach many more people, the conversation starts, and being able to listen and communicate, that's a big deal, even though it's such a simple thing.
Well, it is simple, but we've managed to screw it up pretty good. Sorry to say.
Well, no, we're talking about it, and we're standing in our leadership. So I'll stand right next to you, Tom.
Good.
I'm here for that too.
Good.
So, okay, 2020, new year, new decade. What's in store? What's on the agenda?
Well, for me, it's to help In the Tribe become the leading company that it can be in bringing us back together. I was talking to a noted speaker, and she said to me, Tom, In the Tribe is really kind of a wild idea. It sounds like you've brought LinkedIn, no, her words, it sounds like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Amazon got together and had a baby because you brought relationships and business and commerce and community together. So my goal is to take In the Tribe and turn it into a worldwide phenomena. We're in 11 countries now. We've been in the market with our product about 6 weeks.
Okay.
And people.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. It's there's still more ahead of us to do, but we're excited about the opportunity. As someone said to me from London just a couple of weeks back, Mark said to me, Tom, after seeing what you've built within the tribe, this ties together perfectly with a book I have coming out in a few months. The author, his last name is Lader, Layder, Mark Lader. His book is called Business Connectors.
Ooh.
Okay. And I've got an advanced copy of it. And he says, everything about In the Tribe is about what we need to be connected in the marketplace, such as we are. And he said, as I've seen this platform, it's the one digital place on the web where everything I do can be represented, and I need to be there. So I'm excited for what that portends. I've got a worldwide network already. People in Africa and Australia have already been signing up for it, even people in Kazakhstan. So I don't know anyone there, but
You
there's
do now.
yeah, I do now. But yeah, but there's one thing that universally connects us, and that's our humanity, and that carries with it the ability to be in connection and relationship with each other. So I think we have an unlimited upside in 2020.
Okay. No, well, we get to.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. As I said to someone just the other day, with it was January 1st. We're talking on the 2nd, as you and I know. But I said, I am going to embrace the premise that I have 2020 clarity on the future. And that clarity is going to be in all aspects of my life, not just my business, but my family, my health, my financial, and my faith. And I want 2020 visibility on all aspects, because I believe that is the way forward for us all.
Yeah, I agree with you. Then your ways of being does not change from work to not if your true self, your authentic self, and the openness of everyone in your life, not just segments or fragments.
Exactly. Totally agree with you, Mari. Totally agree.
Happy New Year. I will be jumping up to see you in San Marcos, and we will be getting together. Everybody, yes, we're lucky enough to be in San Diego. Pleasure meeting you. I'm looking forward to working together and exploring more of In the Tribe. And thank you for just coming on and spending some time. Oh, so this year, after the summit, I'll be taking a group of women on a virtual home and journey for self-discovery, and just having a lot of fun. But it's all about connecting. So we'll be sharing meals together. We'll be having movie nights. We'll be doing makeovers. We'll also be doing some face-to-face. But what I call it is the Power of the Tribe Welcome Home 220, which is the analogy of the home represents all the different pieces of friendship is in your life. You break bread in the kitchen. You may have movies or book reading in the living room, and makeovers in your bedroom. So we're going to be having lots going on in the home. Would you come back and spend time with us for some kind of connective activity?
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to. You can use me in any way that can help move your community forward. I'm on your side. I just love what you're doing, and you honor me, Maureen, by inviting me to be a part of this.
Yeah. Well, humble, and we are honored as well. So thank you, Tom. All right. Seeing more of you. We will keep an eye on In the Tribe, and thank you for today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Maureen.